Hey everyone, I'm Cassie from the GSAP team. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you're new to GSAP, it's the animation engine behind some of the most jaw-dropping web experiences out there. Whether you're animating text, SVG, or immersive scroll experiences, GSAP has your back. We've been pushing the boundaries of web animation for over 15 years now, and now thanks to Webflow's support, the entire GSAP library, including all of the previously paid plugins, are free to use. Speaking of Webflow, I'm joined today by Rachel, Webflow's Chief Product Officer.
Hey Cassie, great to be here.
Hey, so great. It's been such an exciting couple of weeks.
Heck yeah, getting to make GSAP 100% free last week was one of the best moments of my time at Webflow.
Same here, what a response. I also just want to take this time to give a big shout out to our amazing Club GSAP members. We wouldn't be where we are today without your support.
100%. You and the GSAP team have built a truly incredible library, and I don't think it's an exaggeration to say you started a movement in motion design.
A movement. I see what you did there.
That's my best mom joke material.
It's giving Vlad a run for his money. But seriously, I'd say that you all kicked off a movement of your own in visual development. For people who may not be as familiar with Webflow, do you want to give them the rundown?
In terms of Webflow, you might know us as a place where you can build your website in a visual-first way while generating clean, production-ready HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And while that's all true, we're more than that too. One way you can think about us is as a full-stack web experience platform, where you have all the tools you need to build a high-performing site, from designing and building to content management to optimization to best-in-class hosting and more, all in one place.
So you can use Webflow as a visual development platform and a platform where you write and deploy code.
Exactly. Earlier this week, we launched Webflow Cloud, allowing developers to deploy full-stack web applications on Webflow's world-class managed hosting. We're investing heavily in our entire development toolkit, and this is just the beginning.
Speaking of investing in development, I know that a lot of folks are curious about why Webflow made GSAP part of the team. I'd love to hear your take on that.
Well, we've always had a big crossover base of creative developers. In fact, the best sites on Webflow almost always have GSAP on them. And it's not just simple interactions. They're super sophisticated animations that allow these brands to create emotional experiences with their audience, which leads to better engagement, better performance, and helps brands be more memorable.
We really noticed this crossover too. I think around 40% of the sites submitted to GSAP Showcase last year were using Webflow. Some absolute bangers too. The Webflow and GSAP community is seriously raising the bar. Speaking of which, should we take a look at some examples?
Let's do it. The first one I want to highlight is Jasper. They're trailblazing the Gen AI space, helping marketers create on-brand content that performs. This is their homepage you're looking at, built by one of our top Webflow agency partners, Offbrand. Doesn't it feel like you're looking at the holodeck or something?
Oh, I love it so much. Offbrand always do such amazing work. I also really love the staggered animation in the header and the fact that it's using Three.js. It always blows me away what people manage to do with Three.js and GSAP together.
Totally. It feels like I'm inside a video game or something.
Yeah, it's always absolutely amazing to see what people build with it.
The next one on deck is the DocuSign brand website, which won 2 Webby Awards crafted by another super talented Webflow agency, Basic Depth. This site speaks to me. It's like an adult coloring book meets ASMR. You know, it's so zen.
There's so much like text and SVG and motion and so many things happening here.
I know. I could spend all day just looking at this animation.
Yeah, it's so cool. I always think that typography websites and brand designs get so much freedom to kind of play around with motion on their sites.
Okay, let's show just one more example. This one's also a Webby Award winner, Real Hotels. They're a luxury hotel group based in Portugal. And it looks like the site of various Real Housewives episodes.
I have no idea what Real Housewives is, but I'm really liking the split text animations here.
I think that's probably for the best, Cassie. It's very American, right? I especially love the micro interactions they've done, especially like these hover effects on the CTA button. Super cool.
Yeah, I love that. The little magnetic hovers.
Ooh, I love this. That's really fun.
Nice little split text animation. That's one of the free plugins now as well. Well, they're all free.
We showed these examples because they're truly inspiring, and these companies have pushed the boundaries of what's possible on the web.
Yeah, it's seriously impressive. We might be the ones building the tools, but it's the creative developers building sites like these who keep raising the bar. All of us at GSAP are so honored to be able to continue evolving the tools to fuel that kind of creativity.
And we want everyone's creativity to be unleashed on Webflow. And that's why our goal is to make GSAP more accessible to developers.
I mean, we're just getting started, but we've made some really exciting Webflow and GSAP updates. I went through some of them with Keegan last week, so let's hand it over to past Cassie. Thanks, future Cassie. I hope the launch went well and you're feeling a little bit less stressed. Hi, Keegan. How are you doing?
Hey Cassie, doing well. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing good, thanks. It's so lovely to be here on the stream with you. I've really loved all of your GSAP demos and your YouTube channel. So yeah, it's just very exciting to be able to hang out and help people learn about GSAP and Webflow.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I feel the same way. Love the GSAP stuff. How's it feeling?
I'm so excited to be able to make all of the plugins free for everyone. It's just, yeah, it's such a great feeling. I'm sure you've played around with some of the plugins in the past.
I have, yeah, and I'm excited to explore more on some of the ones that I didn't explore as much because now they're free. So I'm looking forward to that. What have you been messing around with?
What have I been messing around with? I've been having a lot of fun with Physics 2D recently. While I should have been working on more serious things, I was making a confetti cannon.
Show that again. Okay, so you drag it and then there's a line and you really... Dang, that's cool. I like how as you're dragging it, the little whirligig, the thing is like getting bigger and then you release, and I think the size of the confetti cannon is dependent on how far you drag it. Is that right?
Yeah, there's some kind of variables set up here. So depending on how far the distance is, there are more flares, whirligigs that get exploded, and they change their size as well. And it's got directional rotation too, which is fun.
Very cool. I've been experimenting with Physics 2D as well. Can I show you what I've been working on?
I would love to see it.
Okay, like you, I probably shouldn't have spent as much time with my little demo here, but I had a lot of fun kind of recreating this old school terminal effect, and I used Physics 2D to create like particle systems with these fireworks that I can launch by pressing the F key. So I tried to keep it like not too aggressive because I also made aggression mode, which is if I press A here, I'm using split text in Physics 2D to have that like kind of particle system follow the cursor, and then there's a glitch effect and kind of a lot going on. So I get that it's a lot, but this one was a lot of fun to build.
Oh, that's so much fun. So wait, which plugins are you using here?
I'm using split text here, so that's to like kind of write each character as it's going. So all the text I just like dropped right in Webflow in a paragraph element, and then use split text to chop it up. And then I'm using Physics 2D to create that. There's the cursor, like the blinking cursor that's following the text as it's writing, and there's little particles kind of flashing off of that as it goes. And then also for the fireworks using Physics 2D there too.
Oh, that's so much fun. Yeah, I just can't wait to see what everyone makes now that they've got access to all of the plugins.
Yeah, there's going to be some really good stuff that comes out, and there's already a ton of good stuff actually.
Yeah, we should actually just cover briefly what sort of plugins we have available and what they do.
Yeah, let's do it. You want to run me through that?
Yeah. So some of my favorite plugins are the ones that help you animate SVG. Have you played around much with SVG, Keegan?
I've done the draw SVG, but I would love to explore more with SVGs. I have played around with like different filters and gradients that you can do as SVG, and I'm always just amazed at how deep the world of SVG is. So
it's
yeah,
so much fun. It's basically SVG is kind of like having Photoshop, but in the browser. So in this header, we've got a motion path animating, and then we've also got draw SVG as well. So it's animating along the motion path and also drawing the path out. So that's two different plugins. And then we've got morphing plugins, all sorts of things. So yeah, that's really fun to play around with. So Motion Path Help is really fun because you can edit motion paths in the browser while you're animating along them. So it kind of saves you from having to go out into a vector graphics program and edit things and then back into the browser.
I thought it was so cool that in real time, the little dot is following that path as you edited it. So yeah, I'm excited to play around with this more for sure. One I wanted to ask you about was custom bounce. I've actually like maybe only used that ever once, and I saw this animation of a ball bouncing and squishing. Was that all included in the ease, or can you tell me about that one?
Yeah, so Custom Bounce and Custom Wiggle were previously paid GSAP eases, so they're kind of bonus extra eases. And Custom Bounce, it does the classic animation challenge of handling squash and stretch at the same time. So if we restart this little bouncy ball, you can see that not only does it bounce when it hits the bottom, but the element squishes as well, and you can define how much you want it to squish.
So that's the code will handle that for me. I was thinking, I was like, okay, I get the bounce, like I know how to do an ease like that, but I didn't know that it also handles the stretch and squish.
Yeah, if you want to look at the code really quickly, you define a custom bounce and the strength and the squash amounts. And then you have one tween that handles the Y values, and then one tween that handles the scale values. And then you just use the separate eases for each of those tweens.
I had no idea. I'm so excited to try this one out. This
Yeah,
one's going
that's
to be
a really
really
fun one.
Hey, I noticed that like, so we have GSAP Core, and then it says here, how far will you take it? And there's all these different plugins. A lot of them are now free. Can you tell me about like what went into the decision to make plugins and not just include everything in the core library?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. It's basically for performance reasons. So the core GSAP library contains pretty much everything that you need to make animations. And then the plugins all contain additional things that you can kind of superpower your workflow with. So scroll trigger animations, text animations, dragging, that kind of thing. And when we split them up before into public plugins like scroll trigger, which I'm sure a lot of people have played with, and the club plugins, we kind of put the really like fun bonus extra ones into the club membership. So those are the ones like Motion Path Helper and Custom Bounce and Custom Wiggle and Inertia and stuff. Awesome. So we've shown you some kind of simple how-to demos here and some fun things that Keegan and I have made. But the fun bit is really seeing how far talented people in the community take the GSAP plugins. So should we do a sizzle reel?
Yeah, let's launch it.
There are so many seriously good demos there. You can find more stuff like that on the GSAP site on our demos page. Big shout out to both Osmo and Made with GSAP 2, who both featured in that reel and are making amazing educational resources and demo collections for people to use and learn from.
I really liked the very first animation that was on that sizzle reel. I think it's using split text. Is that right?
Yeah, there were so many text animations in that reel. It's definitely one of the most popular plugins, which is why I'm so excited about the fact that it's had a ground up rewrite.
So I hear the new split text plugin is like half the size. It's got accessibility baked in, and there's over 14 new features with it. Can you share a little bit about what's going on with split text?
Yeah, definitely. So it's really exciting because split text is one of the most popular plugins. I'm sure you've seen it like all over the web on loads of websites. You can use split text to break up characters or words or lines. So you can do easy text animations on your website.
Hey, I want to see what's going on with the HTML here. Could you open Inspector real quick?
Yeah, for sure. Let's have a little look. So you can see that we've got the text is broken apart into lines and words, and then inside there we've got individual characters.
Nice.
So one of the things that I'm most excited about for this release is that it's not just people who can see that navigate websites. Visually impaired people also look through websites, but they get the content read out to them with a screen reader. So in the past, if people used split text or other text splitting libraries, would break apart the text into pieces and screen readers would read out even sometimes like letter by letter to the person that was trying to view the web page. So it wasn't ideal. And in the new version of Split Text, we've added in ARIA labels so that screen readers get the content read out loud to them.
I see that. That's so convenient and helpful that Split Text is doing that for us now.
Yeah, it was something that we kind of lent on the developers to implement themselves before, but I think it's better to just give people a sensible default.
Yeah, and I think there's some new sensible defaults too. I heard there's a masking mode.
There definitely
So
is.
I used to spend a lot of time to try and create these animations where it looked like the letters or the words were kind of coming out from nowhere, but I didn't want to set the opacity to 0 first. I would have to wrap everything in a div, and I usually did that in code, but I've seen also a lot of people having a lot of duplicate HTML in their projects. So yeah, let's see that one.
Yeah, so masking is super popular. It's a really common effect that you see on websites. And in order to do that with split text before, we saw people creating 2 separate split text instances. So they were duplicating loads of the DOM and then having to deal with more code. So we've just added in masking into split text. So you can just say mask by lines or mask by words or mask by characters.
That's so convenient.
Yeah. Awesome. Do you want to give this a go in a Webflow site, Keegan?
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, let's do a demo. So I've got a simple Webflow project here. What I want to do is animate this text. And I notice that has a style applied to it of class text. And so to get GSAP going, I'll click on the settings icon here. And there's this new GSAP option under settings. So let's click that and see what we get.
This is so cool because I know that for quite a long time it's been really difficult for Webflow people to include club plugins in their site.
Yeah, I mean, we spend a lot of time just teaching people how to get GSAP into their Webflow site, right? And now all you have to do is turn this thing on and we get GSAP core in our Webflow project already. So I've turned that on. Now what plugin do I need to get here, Cassie?
Well, we've got some text in the demo, haven't we? So let's have a little play with the new split text.
Okay, so I'm turning on split text just by clicking that. And I see that each plugin adds capabilities but can increase page load, so only enable the ones you want. I do want them all, but I'm just going to go with split text here. So let's go ahead and save these changes. And it says it's saved. Now publish your site for that to take effect. Let's go ahead and write some code before we actually publish our site. So I'm going to go into the pages here, and I'm going to select the settings for the home page. And I'm going to scroll down to where we have some code. Now we can see that I'm already animating the star element, but now I want to animate the text. So Cassie, what do we need to start with? I think we start with the register plugin. Is that right?
Yeah, so whenever you use a GSAP plugin, you have to register it so that the core GSAP library knows what you're using. You can actually get the snippets for register plugin from the GSAP docs.
Okay, I got those from the docs. So now I'm going to just go ahead and copy paste that in here kind of bit by bit, and we'll kind of run through it. And within create, I'm going to target that class of text, and I'm going to specify some options. And these are the type of, the split that I want to do. So characters and words, and we're using that string chars and words here to do that. So now that we've got that thing split up, we can animate it, right, Cassie?
Yeah, so split text is kind of breaking up all of the text into pieces, and then you can use GSAP tweens to animate the bits and pieces that are inside your split element.
Okay, so let's use that tween that we got from the docs. And what we're going to do is animate each character from 100 pixels and fade them in. So we've got gsap.from. And now notice we're getting that object here. Split is an object, and we can access the chars property on it to animate each individual character. And so we're going to set a duration of 1 second. We're going to set the Y value to 100. So this is 100 pixels in the downward direction. So we're going to come from that. And then the auto alpha 0 here, that's to animate from an opacity of 0. Is that right?
Yeah, so it's opacity of 0, but also visibility hidden. So it's a little kind of combo GSAP utility.
Cool. And then finally, we'll set a stagger on that. And I think that's all we need. So I'm going to go ahead and save.
Everyone loves staggers.
That is why I came to GSAP, was because it made stagger animations way easier. So I've gone ahead and went into preview mode. And this is a new feature. We can enable custom code. So that's going to compile what we have. And all of a sudden, we get this awesome text
Amazing.
animation. So,
That's so cool. So before we had this custom code previewing ability, people had to go and actually publish their sites in order to see their animations, right?
Yeah, you'd have to publish and, click here, and then it's going to publish your whole website, and then you'd view it. And then a lot of people, depending on their workflows, might have had to, say you made a bug or you want to change something, you got to go back and change it. And now you can just kind of close out. And I'm using Option P here to go into preview mode and then enabling custom code to get that done.
Awesome. That's so much easier. Love it. Love to see that. Well, I have to get back to future Cassie and Rachel, so that's all the time that we've got, but we hope that you're all really excited to play around with these newly free tools. We'll put loads of links in the description of the YouTube video as well.
Yeah, thanks, former Cassie. It was a lot of fun hanging out with you and just going over some GSAP. So I think if you want to explore more, there's a lot you can get from the template marketplace. We've got free clonables coming out. We've got the GSAP docs. Cassie's making more videos. So lots of stuff to learn from.
Awesome. I can't wait to see what you all make.
Thanks, everyone. See you soon.
Thanks, Keegan and past Cassie.
Present Cassie seems a heck of a lot more relaxed than past Cassie. I wonder why that is.
So much more relaxed. It was worth it, though. I'm so proud of what we shipped.
Me too.
So you all just got to see what's new from GSAP and Webflow. Rachel, do you want to give folks a preview of what's next on our interactions roadmap?
Yes, I'm very excited to share more here. Our native Webflow Interactions product has enabled so many of our customers to animate their sites without writing code, and we're actively working with the GSAP team to take it to the next level. Here's a glimpse of what's next. The next gen of Webflow Interactions will give everyone the power to visually build smooth, rich, performant animations using the most popular GSAP features, and it'll be deeply integrated with our web experience platform, from design systems to collaboration workflows and much more. We're revamping the user experience to allow you to create and preview your interactions on a horizontal timeline. That's right, a horizontal timeline. And we want building interactions to be as efficient and scalable for teams by making them reusable across your site. You can expect a foundational launch in the next few months, but this is going to be an ongoing investment area where we'll be constantly expanding interactions with more and more GSAP features and increasing compatibility with Webflow.
Oh, I'm so excited for what we're building together. If you're as excited as I am to jump into GSAP and explore the plugins, we've kicked off a really great community challenge running through May. We've got 4 weeks, 4 prompts, and 4 winners. Tons of great prizes. 1 year of Webflow's CMS site plan, GSAP and Webflow swag, plus we'll hype you up on social and feature your creation in a dedicated blog post. Everyone's welcome to enter, whether you use Webflow or not. Either submit a Webflow site or a code pen to win. We've had a bunch of great submissions for the first text animation prompt, so thanks to everyone that's entered. I can't wait to see what you build for the rest of the prompts.
We can't wait to share what's coming next. Together, GSAP and Webflow are committed to shaping the future of web animation and continuously raising the bar on what developers, designers, marketers, and agencies can build visually and with code.
Thanks so much for joining me, Rachel. It's been really fun. I can't wait to see what everyone builds with GSAP and what we, Webflow and GSAP, managed to build together.
Thank you so much, Cassie. This has been amazing.
Bye, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us.